Good morning, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for our March episode of ARIVE Partner Spotlight. In this monthly webinar series, we invite thought leaders and industry experts from our lender partners to talk about topics which are relevant in today's markets and share tips, tricks, and strategies that can help you grow your business. My name is Harish Tejwani. Along with my wonderful colleague, Amy Hulett, we'll be moderating this webinar today. Today, I'm very excited to have panelists from our awesome lender partner, Kind Lending. With a name like that, you might have guessed they're all about positivity, warm relationships, and a healthy dose of positive energy. Joining us today from Kind Lending are Delfino Aguilar. They're ever bubbly and energetic Chief Production Officer of GPO Channel, and Krish Dhokia, their unstoppable Chief Marketing Officer, who's always ready to shake up things. So I want to thank all the panelists for joining us. I'll let them introduce themselves. Today, we are going to talk about a topic that is near and dear to every mortgage professional. How do you build lasting relationships? Mortgage industry is all about people, connections, and relationships, not about transactions. So I look forward to hearing from the panelists what they have to say about that. This webinar is being recorded, and the recording will be available on ARIVE's YouTube channel. So if you want to pass it on to your colleagues or you want to get inspired again, you're welcome to watch this. If you have any questions for our panelists, feel free to use the Q&A tab below. We will answer them as they come. So before we start, I have a quick audience poll from all of you. I see a lot of you have joined. So this question is asking you, how many of you are actually approved to do business with Kind Lending? So I have just launched that poll. So hopefully everybody is seeing that. So if you can take a moment to answer that, or we have. All right. So I'm going to give 5 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. So it looks like about 69% of our community members are approved with Kind Lending, and more importantly, 31% are not. So we'll hear from Delfino about why you should get approved with Kind Lending and how do you sign up with them. So I'm sharing the results. So it looks like about 69% of you guys already do business with Kind, and about 31% are not approved with Kind. So without further ado, I want to hand this over to Delfino. But before that, I know, Amy, you wanted to say something today?
Well, yes, I'm just really excited for this particular session. Relationships really, truly are everything in this business. And, there's a saying about not burning bridges, and building bridges are so important in our industry because we never know how many times we're going to cross the same water, right? And need to kind of go back and forth. And this business is so transient, but what that means is that we have many opportunities to connect with the same people over and over and over again. And so this session is really going to be about whether you're, had relationships for decades and maybe need a refresher on where you are with these new relationships and how to continue to, strengthen them, but really also these brand new relationships that you may be wanting to welcome with clients and referral partners. So I'm excited to have this session with the Kind team. I know that's what they're all about, is building relationships and kindness within their community. So with that, I'll hand it over to Delfino.
Thank you. Wow, what a warm introduction. Thank you, Harish. Thank you, Amy. I appreciate everybody joining to hear us share our story of Kind. Harish, when you were counting down, I was waiting for like a rocket picture to show up, or something like that. Rocket taking off, or like Elon Musk was going to join us or something here. But yeah, like I appreciate the opportunity of us being here. We're excited. I asked 2 other people to join us today. So other than Krish, who's our wonderful Chief Marketing Officer, who, as you guys can tell, is very proud to be working at Kind with the Kind branding. We have Austin Willis, who's one of our account executives in the Southeast, and also Amber Jarvis, who's one of our great team kind ambassadors that we have here, who helps us put all these events together. Okay, so as Amy and Harish really said, is here at Kind, there's a lot of folks that aren't approved with us right now and that are on this call. So we want to share our story. And one of the biggest pieces of our story is a strength that we have created with our brokers and our focus of taking relationships beyond the loan and building them to be lasting relationships. And that's what we're going to focus on today, is how important everybody knows. Amy and I were talking about this, that there's keys to relationship building. We're going to hit on some today, but it's a good reminder of some of the pieces of the business that we should focus on to continue to grow. This market is changing. Borrowers, brokers have options. That's the best part of being a mortgage broker, is being able to have options. So how do we separate ourselves from the competition and establish stronger relationships? And that's one of the pieces that we're going to focus on today. So Krish is driving for me today. I asked the group, first presentation with glasses for me so I can see a little bit better. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. So Krish, if you can go to the next slide, please. So as I mentioned earlier, we wanted to share the story of Kind. And Austin was one of the first account executives that started with us here, as many others. And Austin and I went into a presentation one time, and sorry if you heard the story before, but we went into a broker shop and we're saying, we're Kind Lending, very enthused. Has Harish say, we're walking in there all bubbly, ready to go. And all of a sudden, are you guys like part of the Kind Bar family? Do you guys give us Kind bars every time you fund a loan? Like, what's up, right? So we're like, no, we're part of a movement. We're part of something different. We're part of something special, and we want you to be a part of it. There was a time where we were so proud just to be in the rankings, and we were like, we made it to the list, 438. Well, now we've grown to be the sixth ranked wholesale lender in the industry, and we do it because of our broker partners. We do it because of the relationship we've established, so we're really proud of that. We're not happy being there. Like, our target is to continue to grow, but grow organically by developing the right partnerships and relationships. We're also the 44th ranked inside total mortgage lender in the country. So we hit the top 50 last year, going into this year. So we're really excited about that. That again, continued growth. We're approved in 48 states, working on New York and Massachusetts currently. But more importantly, I think that at Kind, our focus has always been the relationship piece and also the people. All right. We firmly believe that the account executive is the biggest advocate for you guys. Every loan needs a voice in this business. And that relationship that you have with your AE, to be that subject matter expert, to be that person to deliver for you, is extremely important to us at Kind. And so we've surrounded ourselves and attracted the best talent in the industry. With, on average, our AEs have over 20 years of mortgage experience in the industry. So that's a big plus for us as we continue to grow and have that person to be an advocate for you and help you not only understand our products, what we're going to get into, but help you grow and navigate different types of market. And in a lot of times, your AEs in your market. So you have people, boots on the ground, that can go see you in your office. But we're also proud of something else here, is that we were voted by 2 organizations as top workplace for going into 2025. We value that extremely. We asked for a lot of feedback from our current Kind ambassadors and our AEs. A lot of what we've done here at Kind is because of the feedback that's brought to us from our broker partners through our AEs. And so we create a truly collaborative environment at Kind Lending. And so we're really proud of that. I wanted to make sure we covered that because, the great Kind ambassadors pulling for you guys and making sure we're delivering for you on your closings and giving you that expertise service starts with happiness. And that's one thing we're really proud of. In addition to that, we're going to go to the next slide, is we have over 300 different types of products here at Kind. And Krish moved over to that. So we have a wide breadth of products here for everybody. Conventional loans, highlighting with even a Fannie Mae blended FICO score option. VA, we specialize in government financing. We're not just a government lender. We do a lot of great things here, but we understand your VA transactions, your FHA transactions. All of our underwriters are fully versed with different designations to help provide faster closing and understand that type of business. Obviously with USDA, and if you're involved in CalHFA, we have those as well. But we have also niche products that help us, like the no credit score option that goes for a Fannie Mae product up to 90%. 100% for FHA, and we have different options around that too. Obviously, one of the big pieces of the business recently, as all of you know, is HELOCs. So we offer different type of HELOC products that are very competitive. We're doing more and more of that, and we're specializing in that product as we continue to grow. One big piece of the business that obviously I was at an event, and all of you guys might remember that you used to go to an event a couple years ago, and you probably saw maybe one or two non-QM lenders, right? Now you go to an event, and the majority of the vendors that there are non-QM, different types of non-QM options, alternative financing, great options for self-employed. Well, we have a team here that specializes just in non-QM. It's a different division of ours here, different operation center. So we truly understand that. Our agency AEs are versed in the product. We have a specialized team with Wendy Lisis, who runs our non-QM division on the sales side. So that's a big focus of ours as well going in. I'm going to share a couple of points on that in the next slide. But before I transfer over to that, we are proud of a lot of our products, all of our products. But I asked Austin to speak to on this call briefly about what we offer when it comes to the DPA, the national DPA. There's some great things about this product that's different from others. It's a great supplement to the other products that we have here at Kind Lending that we focus on. But in a purchase market, whatever rates are doing, you always need an option. Obviously, the Fannie Mae no FICO score option, the blended FICO score conventional, but we also have a great option when it comes to a DPA, right? So Austin, you're well versed in this, and I asked that, you talk to your brokers about this quite a bit. It comes up, it's a great product. Maybe you share like quickly some highlights about this product and why you think it stands out and how your brokers use it. Oops, we lost the screen there. So, yep. So I don't know if we can, go ahead, Krish, if you can put it back on the screen, Krish. Yep. Go ahead, Austin.
Yeah, absolutely. So as you guys know, DPA programs are just hugely popular in the market right now. And with our DPA programs, we provide you with options. We have two different DPA programs. They're on the screen here on the right, Kind Lending National DPA and National DPA. And both programs offer either a 3.5% or a 5% DPA behind a regular FHA loan. So that means that we're going to go up to 100% CLTV or 101.5% CLTV, where you can give your borrower back 1.5% of the DPA for closing cost help. You also have the option of doing a repayable second, where the rate on the second mortgage will be the same as the rate on the first. Or you can do a silent second, where there is no payment, and then that loan will be forgiven after 3 years. So, typically when you think of DPAs, they're for borrowers that may be struggling with their finances, but that's not always the case. With our DPA programs, we do not have a first-time home buyer requirement. We also don't have an income limit. So that means we can go up to the FHA loan limit in the subject property county, a little bit higher loan limit or higher loan amount than you're probably typically used to with some of our competitors' DPAs. Lastly, we don't require an additional investor review prior to closing. So we're able to close these pretty quickly, same time frame we close all of our programs. And that's been a big benefit for us to, help you land more deals and get it done on time.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Austin. Closing on time is really important. And this is something that we do with our brokers often, is setting expectations. But I wanted to highlight that, Austin, because you and I speak a lot pretty much every day, and we look at ways to navigate different products and offerings. So I wanted to make sure that we highlighted that as well. Obviously, there's some other great alternatives. Thank you, Austin, for that. There's also some other products that we have here, under the RAD options. As you go through this, you can see our terminology are a little bit different than the mortgage industry here. But we do have some other great features for you, and we're going to send this deck out for all of you guys as well. As I transition to the next slide, I want to talk about non-QM briefly. So if you can transition to the next slide, Krish. So as I mentioned earlier, we are really focused on the non-QM product as another product for our brokers, for our AEs, our loan officers, and we really taken time to create our own guidelines and providing the ultimate non-traditional borrowers financing, right? And so we offer obviously these products, the highlights of it. We not only this, but I think it's really important to look at what we do when it comes to rural acreage, acres allowed, condo tells, non-warrantable offerings as well too. Asset depletions with no minimum assets requirement stands out as well. But more importantly, with us at Kind, we have a series, Harish and I were talking about this, because we have a weekly training series for our brokers. We used to offer these trainings, and non-QM is a big part of it. We're having a bank statement training coming up as well to understand the complexities and how you can help structure these deals for your borrowers. But with the training, we really focus on understanding and to give the brokers that time every week to come on and to learn about the product, learn how we process them. And we started our trainings, everyone, and we're going to get to the end of the slide. You'll be able to register for some. We started our trainings. There used to be like 70 people, 80 people. Our trainings on average now have over 600 people on them. So they're very valuable. It's a value add. We're doing a lot of these for non-QM, and we're going to send you this deck as well. So I highly suggest, even if you're used to doing non-QM loans, or if you're new to the product, it's tailored for everybody to learn when we're offering our training specifically in non-QM. Okay, so I'll transfer one more slide, please. Krish, I'm excited to talk about this. So we're talking about relationships today, and as some of you guys might have seen on social media or were part of our Vibe event, you guys are, if you're seeing this for the first time, you're probably like, why are there some dogs, especially one with the chain on its neck, right? Our alpha. But at Kind, we like to do things differently. And I'll give you an example. Our portal is called the Quickie Portal. You know, we give you a great start and we always end it with a happy ending, right? So we like to be different. We like to be fun here at Kind. And part of this relationship-based business is being able to give people goals and to work together to achieve something as a partnership. And so we created our top dog program. And you can see we have our alpha dog, our big dog, our good dog, and our puppy is the new dog, and obviously a wiener. Everybody likes the wiener dog, right? No offense to anybody who has a wiener dog, right? But we really want everybody to be the good dog, the big dog, and the alpha. And it's truly a relationship-based business where you have some protections, and I won't go into the detail on that when it comes to certain aspects of our current business, but there's achievements that you're done every quarter that you can talk to your AE about. And this relationship-based business makes it fun. It's different than a regular award that you might receive, but it's really something that has kind of changed the game. And it's interesting, as I talk to brokers out in the field, they'll say, hey, when am I going to get my alpha, or am I an alpha yet? Because there are some perks that come along with each one of these categories that your AE can give you more detail on. So if you're wondering what this program is about, definitely it is a fun program. It is a relationship-based program. It is one that the AEs can fill you in on, but we're happy to see it. Austin, you talked to your brokers about this quite a bit, right? What's been the feedback about the top dog?
Top dog program's fun. You know, it's, as you can see, there's a lot of fun elements to it, but it gives back for just doing business with us, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to do anything real crazy. You don't have to go and do any special projects for us or anything like that. You do business with us. We have a pull-through element. We have a submission element, and everybody is classified in the fun program that gives back nice incentives. So it's been good feedback.
It's been great feedback on it. And obviously quality is a big part of this, and we help you guys with that. And so we're excited to roll this out. We rolled it out this year. We're going to send this link out as well to play the video for all of you. But it is something that, you know, look at your AE. They're going to probably be dropping off actually a pit bull award, an alpha dog award that we used to call there. But we're really excited about it. And as we continue to grow the program, we're going to be announcing some more enhancement to it as well. So thank you, Krish, on that. Yep. So let's get into that was a little bit about Kind and our story and where we're at now, right? And if you can go to the next slide. Yeah. And today we're here to talk about relationships and how exciting it is to have strong partner relationships with your lenders, with your referral partners, with everybody you partner with in this beautiful industry. But it's not just built on loans. Our business is built on relationships. And that's what we're going to focus on today. The reminders that are part of this beautiful industry where we help so many different people. But let's talk about why it matters. All right. And statistics, I'm a data guy. I love looking at data, looking at ways to improve production, looking at ways to improve quality. So the numbers don't lie. And something that sticks out here is 91% of consumers say that they give a referral. They were happy with it. Listen, I will give you a referral, but only 11% of sales professionals ask for it. Okay, so they're willing to help, but people tend to forget, hey, if you don't mind, you know, give us a great referral. you know? And so that's something that we get to keep in mind that we're going to build on and talk about today too. And not only that, but there's a real cost to it. The cost of acquiring a new customer is 5% higher than retaining a new one. 5 times higher, excuse me, than retaining a current customer. So keeping our customers happy, keeping all of you happy, returning to us to help you with your financing need for your borrowers is extremely important. But that's what this business is about. This business is always about relationships. We're going to hit a couple of 10 pieces of this real quick here. But I want us to keep that in mind. Those statistics are really important as we go through the transition. So, Krish, I'm going to transfer it over to you to start us off.
Yeah, absolutely. And I wanted to add, I love numbers. I have an accounting background, and everyone in mortgage, I assume, loves numbers as well. But when they're true and stats from Harvard and Harvard Business Review and Dale Carnegie, it's even better, right? But I also like to make up percentages, so this is beautiful. So we're going to talk a little bit about, oops, did I go too fast? No, understanding relationships. That's what we're here to talk about today is some of the principles that you need to truly understand how to cultivate and build relationships. And so first, we're going to kind of cover business relationships, and I think Amy already mentioned this. It's not just a transaction. It is trust-based partnership. And there's a couple of ways to measure those pieces to get those relationships. So people will always remember how you made them feel, more than what you sold them. And every transaction, if you go to the grocery store, there's no relationship there. Actually, maybe there is, if you talk to them. And there's things that you can do. And again, we're going to cover these through 10 basic principles. Brokers who master these relationships are creating repeat business. And we all know in the mortgage industry, creating those strong referrals, creating that repeat business, and building that trust in your local communities or the people that you work with is what projects your business and grows it even more. So we're going to get right into the principles, right? So principle number 1, communication, the currency of trust. Clients prefer communication over communication to silence. Del, do you have any examples of this?
Yeah, so I think that's a great example. I think that's one of the biggest currency. I always tell people when I'm talking to them about attracting the keep in kind is, being able for them to build trust of partner. That's one of the biggest things, right? Will I do what I say? And a lot of that comes from the over communication and setting the right expectations throughout the process. Examples of, he says here, simple text, post loan, checking in on a new home can lead to the next referral. One thing that I've seen loan officers do really well at is even though they don't have a relationship with the current listing agent on a purchase, they'll send them updates throughout the transaction. They will actually build more relationships and get another agent referral because they're keeping a listing agent informed, not just their own broker in the transaction, right? So not just their own real estate agent that give them that transaction. So they're communicating to do different pieces around the transaction. So that has always helped. Like over communicating has been a big piece. And I think it's preventing the other questions to come in if you're out there giving updates, right? So people are not questioning where they're at with their loan, et cetera, because you're already on top of it. Like that, to me, if you go anywhere, that's going to make you want to come back. You know what? I trust this person. They're going to communicate, and it's all about getting that next referral, right? We look at our brokers the same way. We have to earn every single loan you send to us, every single borrower, every single transaction. And the way we do that is by treating the current transaction the right way. And so that's the big piece of communication. We have that throughout our broker portal process, sending communication to our brokers so they can communicate. But that's something that stuck out to me on that, Krish.
What's funny is as a home buyer, I might have been the most annoying home buyer ever, right? Like type A personality. I got the updates that like, hey, funding, whatever it is, and I'm still calling the loan officer like, hey, what about this? And over communication versus silence, right? Had the person I was working with not answered me, I would have been more worried and in my head about it, right? And so it's not just, hey, telling your audience that you're out there and working on weekends and all of that stuff. It's actually responding and
Yep.
response, whether it's good or bad. And that's the other part of it. Is like you can't just ignore things either, right? So I love it. So
Yep.
principle number 2,
Yep.
trust.
That's right.
Your competitive edge. 81% of consumers need to trust a brand to buy from them. Ways to build trust, of course, be honest, even when it's uncomfortable. Set
Yeah.
expectations and exceed them, right? Own your mistakes, resolve issues like we were just talking about with the communication piece, with urgency and transparency. Own things, right? I think that's an easy one. But give us an example, Del, of how you would share the trust principle and some, positive pieces for our listeners.
Yeah, and I think this is by far, I think all these are important, but I think setting the right expectation. We talked about that previously when it comes to communication. So many other things in this business can happen, but if you're setting the right expectation and owning up to a mistake is important. I think that a lot of times we'll tend to hide from that. Oh, I don't want to say what happened in the transaction just yet. Let me try to figure it out. But I think there's times or different circumstances, but I think owning up to something is really important, especially because it'll build that competitive edge. It might not be what you want to hear at the time. It might not be the most right transaction. It might not go as smooth as possible, but guess what? You'll have the respect of the referral for being able to say, I came up with this came up during your transaction, but this is how I dealt with it. All right. And I look at that a live example of our team here at Kind. Most of the executive group here, I would say probably 95% of us have been working together for a long time, right, at a previous company. And there is a huge amount of trust within this group. And so one of the big things about that is handling difficult conversations, difficult parts of the business by relating to a certain circumstance or just setting the expectation or saying, hey, guess what? This part didn't work. Let's talk about it. What happened? Let's make it better for the next time. And I think a lot of people tend to shy away from difficult conversations. And so that's something that it's an important part of a relationship. I can't tell you guys, both Amy and I were talking about this. We're like, we're going to share stuff both professionally, but also personally on this, right? Like there's a lot of different pieces of this to take away. But I wanted to share that piece because it is very important to either to own up for it, but then also what am I going to do after the fact? Right? And that's a big piece of what we do here at Kind as well.
1000%. I think that, in our business, in the real estate business, the mortgage business combined, reviews are everything, right?
Yeah.
It's how you ask for the referral, it's how you ask for more business. And, our AEs, if brokers on the call, feel free to go to experience.com and check out Kind TPO's reviews. They're incredible. And you'll hear other brokers in the industry talking about the trust piece, which is so important.
Yeah.
It's not just the transactional piece where, hey, I trust that Kind and my account executive are going to close on time and those pieces, but it's so much more than that. Like, hey, I trust this person, right? Account executives hold these special relationships. I think it's really, really amazing. All right, so moving on to principle number 3. And Del, I'm having a lot of fun here.
Yeah.
I think we should bring in Amy to talk a little bit as well. So
I
principle
know.
number 3, we're going to talk about empathy, right? Seeing through their eyes. Clients don't just want a broker, they want an advocate. And here's a special 3 bullet points, how to practice empathy. Listen more than you talk, which I have a problem with. Understanding their fears, market volatility, bad experience with other lenders, and lastly, offer solutions tailored to their concerns. So Del, I know you wanted to
Yeah.
converse with
No, yeah, I like this one. I was talking to Amy about it too, and I said, Amy, one of the pieces that brokers look for is like an understanding, like what happens in the market. They tend to look, hey, what are some things you guys are seeing? What are some solutions you can help us with? And like Amy, I thought of you on this because you are so good in your current role, but also you sat in the account executive role for a long time. You partnered with thousands of brokers and loan officers in your career as well too. So I thought I would ask you on this, Amy, to give us some feedback on it because this is a good one, and I think it's important to share with the group some of your thoughts on it.
Yeah, thank you. Empathy can be tricky for many people. I mean, it's defined as the ability to understand and share the feelings of another person. And so I think in our business, the mortgage profession, we're very result oriented. We're very solution oriented, which is important for our success. But I think a lot of times what happens with that is, we're just very methodical. Step 1 to step, 10, get it done. I'm going to solve a problem. And I know from my husband, men love to solve problems. And so, I appreciate that. But I think that what we can do is get very desensitized over time to just getting the loan closed. And we can be very hyper-focused on what we need in that transaction, thinking we're the hero, we're moving it forward, we're getting the job done. And so what we're maybe lacking along the process is really having empathy for those in the transaction and trying to really understand where they're coming from. There's a lot of anxiety and fear and stress around the home buying process. There's also a lot of stress on the realtor side because we don't, it may be their only transaction they have going, right? They may have a lot of things else going in their life too. And yes, we may think all they care about is the loan, the home closing, escrow recording, whatever. But the reality is there's so much opportunity throughout the process to be able to actually do those things, listen, more than talk. Try to anticipate what they're scared about, and relating to them on a human level is really so important in being able to understand how you can provide those solutions. So instead of assuming we have the solution all the time and not understanding where that fear, anxiety, distrust may be coming from, is asking those questions along the way. And in the very beginning, when you're getting to know somebody, what has been your experience so far? What's the worst thing that's happened to you? Okay, I appreciate you sharing that with me. Here's how I'm going to try to circumvent those things from happening. And we can do that with our broker partners, right? We're for a lender, but really just trying to understand everyone comes to the table with their experiences, good and bad. And the more that we understand that, we can meet those expectations and hopefully provide a better experience and trust and have that referral business at the end of the transaction. So I think the more that we understand the feeling, the more that we can understand the need that they have on their side. And that really just takes, I think, slowing down in those moments that you can and developing a little bit more rapport with those people and getting to know them, on a personal level. But I also think empathy isn't just recognizing times of stress and trying to walk those people through those situations. I also think being empathetic is celebrating with our partners too, and celebrating with our clients. And when the transaction's done, or even through those moments, trying to find those celebrations of, the new home closing, the child graduating from high school, a win happening, and being there along the way post-transaction to be able to celebrate with them too, in a real way, right? It's being empathetic to their joy, their celebration, things that are happening in their life. And then they're realizing that you're listening, you're paying attention to their life in a way that's not just transactional. So I think it's a really important piece, and I appreciate you letting me speak on it.
Yeah. You just said something, that you're listening to their life, right? And I found that the people that know more about their borrowers, their partners, they have a stronger relationship with them. So empathy is a big part of that. I see the account executives have such strong relationships with their brokers and their loan officers. They know their birthdays, they attend events together, and vice versa. Loan officers, brokers with their referral partners. Same thing. And the big part of that is that piece. So thank you, Amy, for sharing that. Krish, I think we're ready for principle 4, right?
Yeah.
That's a good.
Yes,
Yeah.
consistency. Seeing the silent deal closer. Clients trust what's predictable. Are you showing up regularly? How to practice it. So maintain a steady follow-up cadence, deliver the same exceptional service to every client, keep branding and messaging uniform. And it's easy to set it and forget it and create some automation and have this email and text, and that's only part of it, right? And I like to say this, Del, is most marketers realize that there's 7 touches and before people remember you and all this stuff, but it's the personal touch. is what this is, right? That's what we're talking about here is the follow-up from the empathy is to be consistent. So for example, if you're sending someone a birthday card this year and you don't send it to them for another 2 years, there's a problem, right? But the regular call, the regular text, the in-person visits, Del, I know you have this is something you do pretty frequently, so
I do, and I think this is this is the best thing to keep in mind on this is just that the silent deal closer. It truly is, because there's something to say about a relationship, and if you're talking to a borrower, I know somebody who recently purchased a home 2 years ago, and they're like, I got the same template, I can get the same email from them. I just knew what to expect, and I knew that it was coming every March 15th. Okay. And I think that's really important, because sometimes people tend to say, well, you just said, Krish, not everybody, but set it and forget it, and you got to keep it fresh. Okay. So even though you got to consistently with the marketing or whatever you're doing with your CRM, there's a lot of great ones out there to keep in contact with our borrowers and our referral partners. There's nothing more that we can do that make it different to make sure they open that content. And I think that's part of being consistent. They know, hey, I'm going to receive this. I know what to expect. It's the same format, excuse me. And that's really important. The branding and messaging is uniform. And it's not like all over the place. I see some marketing that you see that they market in a different format. It's a little confusing. It doesn't get to the point. It doesn't help get the loan. Like, what can we do to add value in the communication consistently? And I think that's one of the most important parts. I think that, like, we send out here at Kind every morning, we send out a report that has where production's at, right? Every morning, every AE knows what they did the previous one, how their relationship is with the broker, and what we're doing to win the next day. And so the people expect it, they're consistent. I try to provide that value with that. And I've seen great loan officers, no matter how much volume they're doing, they still stay to that consistent path of delivering to their borrowers with the communication piece. And it's always helped. I see people with, no matter how much volume you're doing, that is one of the biggest things. Keep consistency.
yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
And it's again, not just following up, but staying true to your methods. I know a lot of the mortgage brokers that I speak to, Del, they have very unique marketing pieces or unique ways of following up, and stay true to it, because what your community talks, right? So you did a deal with for one person, and like, oh yeah, they FaceTimed me at closing, or the day after to and you didn't do it for the next person. They will relay that information.
Right.
So principle number 5.
Yep.
Mutual respect. I respect Del respects me, but it's more than that, right? The golden rule of business. Clients who feel respected become your biggest champion. And some bullet points here: honor their time, be prompt, be prepared, and be efficient. Educate, don't sell. That's what we're doing here. We're educating, we're not selling. But provide value and not pressure. And these are just basic rules of thumb. It's almost common sense in a way, but if you miss pieces of it, then you are it's a one-sided relationship, right? It's one doesn't respect the other as much. So Del, I know we talked about this yesterday about this piece. So you want to give us more clarity on what this means to you?
Yeah.
Do you apply it?
What it means to us, and more importantly, what it means to the relationship business in our industry. I think for us is taking it from the Kind point of view. We talked about our AEs. So one of the things that we really talk to our AEs about is making sure they honor the broker's time, set appointments, making sure that you just don't show up and throw up, have a plan to help educate and be their partner. Okay. And I've seen great loan officers and originators have that same mentality with their referral partners, right? Like, they'll say, hey, I'm going to come in at this time. It's always great to be a pop-up or set trainings for them. But being able to show that mutual respect, hey, just because I'm not busy doesn't mean that you're not busy, right? Just because my day's free is not going to mean that your day's free. So let's make sure we set the expectations before that. And somebody, we were presenting Glenn and I were presenting at an event last year, and one of the top originators said, you know, what's a good tip to keep me on track during a presentation and respect people's time, right? Believe it or not, busted out this thing that's right next to you guys all the time. My live off alarms, right? So there's an alarm to go off here around 10:55 to tell me I got 5 minutes left in this presentation. And believe it or not, it was a quick tip that we said at this presentation, and I've been getting messages how even though you're on your phone the entire time, but being prompt, it's respecting other people's time. Okay, and I think that shows a mutual understanding that, hey, listen, you're just as important to me like I am to you, and we're setting the expectations of our relationship. And I only got 30 minutes with you. I'm going to make the best of these 30 minutes. And so I think this is a big piece that sometimes gets tend to forget. You know, obviously, like when I call someone, or I've been in an office. I was in an office yesterday, and the broker said, one of my agents, let me pick up and say, hey, are you free at this time for us to talk? It seems so simple, but I'm telling you, everyone, it's something that we got to keep in mind as you continue to grow your business.
Perfect.
Okay.
All right, providing value, principle number 6. Become the go-to resource. Clients who feel respected become your biggest champion. We've mentioned that moniker already, but how to add value, right? Some easy, quick, low-hanging fruit that can really kind of provide value and keep you top of mind with your clients and your referral sources. Send market insights before they even ask, right? Anticipating needs. Host Q&A sessions on home ownership topics. You know, with the introduction of the World Wide Web and Zoom and a lot of tools, you don't always have to do them in person. So I think that's important that you could do them more frequently. Introduce clients to trusted professionals, right? Who's in your sphere of influence? Your financial advisors, your CPAs, your local restaurant owners for, you know, hosting birthday parties. It doesn't have to just be mortgage related or real estate related, but when you become that go-to resource, you're the person, you're the hottest person in town, and you know everyone. So Del, this is something that we do specific to the wholesale TPO world. Would you mind sharing?
Yeah, this is specific to us that we wanted to incorporate. Like I mentioned earlier, trainings, right? Like being able to add value. Our job as a lender is to support. But for me to get there, I need to have 3 things. I need to have price, I need to have technology, I need to have service. Those are the things that it's going to help me win just to get in the door, right?
Yeah.
Some lenders have all 3, some lenders have 1 or 2, and you understand that. We really strive to that here at Kind of having all 3 of those things. But besides that, we offer other tools to our brokers and loan officers. We look at ways to add value with detailed training, not just you're going to show up and we're going to go over income training. No, guess what? We're going to go over training that fluctuates specifically for traveling nurses, which we did one of those, which was one of our biggest trainings, by the way. People wanted it and come to that training as well. So that's one thing that comes to mind when you're talking about added value. Okay, it's not just asking for the business, but it's finding the right people to address this need with, right? It's like, what can I do to help CPA specifically? We have all that built. So what I have found is loan officers and brokers that take strategic strategies to help build these relationships is important to add value. How can I change my presentation for non-QM specifically to people that work with CPA agents, right? How can I work it with and when it comes to my down payment assistance programs on an office that's high purchase transactions, right? Whatever the case would be, but you have to detail it and they have to be that person to become their go-to resource.
Absolutely. I mean, we could offer everything under the sun, but honestly, it's doing it and doing it well. And I mean, you hit on the training piece, mutual respect. We're not going to invite you to a training that isn't beneficial to you and respecting your time. So without further ado, principle number 7, I'm super excited about this one because we get to bring on our friend, and host of the hostess with the mostest, Mr. Harish. Because principle 7, we're going to talk about following up or follow up, the magic of staying top of mind. One quick stat, and then we're going to bring on Harish. 80% of sales require 5+ follow-ups, yet 44% of sales reps give up after one. I couldn't even have made that stat up.
Yeah.
You know, it's that precise. So without further ado, Del and Harish.
Yeah, I'm excited about this one because I wanted to talk to Harish. I'll share a quick story, right? Like Harish and I have known each other a long time, and as we were continuing to build Kind, there was not another partner that followed up with me more than him, right? Like the constant follow up. He saw the added value of partnering with Kind Lending, and he helped me to really understand what a great aspect this is of our business. It's a ARIVE platform. It's great. It's a great partnership with brokers. It helps them build their business. And there was so many times where he would stay consistent to follow up. Del, we have to meet. Del, let's talk about the growth. Del, I can help you guys grow, etc. And I will tell you, I've never had another partner follow up with me as much as he did. So I thought, Harish, share your story because you're so good at this. All right. So, share, we have about 17 minutes left here. So maybe you can share a little bit of your thoughts on the art of following up.
Yeah, no, thank you, Del and Krish. So it looks like I've been put on the spot, so I need to step up. This has been an awesome conversation. So this is so heartwarming to listen to. I will mention building genuine, authentic relationships is built into our company's DNA, and we truly mean it. It is not just with our community and our lender partners, but right into our platform. So we think of our platform as tools we are providing to our community that can help them build genuine, lasting relationships. And you guys kind of nailed it. So follow-up is a key component of building relationships. It helps you stay on top of other person's mind. And Del, like you mentioned, the strategy which I have followed is, I don't follow up as a salesperson to sell something. I follow up to say, I'm just checking in. I want to find out how you're doing. Is there anything I can educate you on? So when you become an advisor and you follow up and you make the other person feel you truly care, it changes everything. So that's something has helped me a lot, starting ARIVE from ground zero to where it is today. Like being humble and being authentic about, we are trying to just make you aware of what we are doing, and simple things like celebrating milestones, like you have mentioned on Facebook or social media. Congratulations, your son won a trophy or something happened. So these are simple things that don't cost money. Wishing someone happy birthday, or glad to see you are visiting. Let's go and check in. So showing other people you value them, their time, what they are doing, you care about them, helps a lot. In early days of ARIVE, I didn't have the luxury of having this awesome sales team and other team members that I have today. So I was kind of the sales team. So yes, follow-up was so crucial. Early on, I was everywhere. I used to just pick up the phone and call people or message them on Facebook. I want to introduce my company, my system, my platform. And what practically happens is most of the time, people will kind of ignore you and they'll not respond back. But so the key here is not to get discouraged. As long as you show genuineness and sincerity, it'll show results. Some of my follow-ups happened at like 1 a.m. on a Saturday night.
Doesn't matter.
People were doing pre-approval, something went wrong, and they were calling me. You will follow up. Can you please fix my pre-approval? And I did that, And then the community gives back in kind, if I can use that term. They will shower their love back. They'll be on social media, YouTube, talking about how, like we help. And this goes back to Krish, what you mentioned earlier. People always remember, how you made them feel. They may not remember what you said or what you did, but that impression, how you made them feel, lasts in their mind. But yes, following up, staying on top of your prospects, your referral partners, your borrowers, anyone you do business with is absolutely essential to help you keep these relationships healthy and strong.
Awesome. Yeah. I mean, I got to tell you, we love the partnership with ARIVE. You guys do such a great job helping us grow our business. We're obviously doing more business with brokers that are in your platform that weren't previously. So we're really excited about that. I'm excited about Principle 8 as well. Thank you, Harish. Because this touches a little bit continuing with something what he said, right? Christian talks about the human touch. So talk to us about that.
Well, it's not about touching someone, right? But it's just people do business with people they like, plain and simple, right? But I think Harish mentioned it, handwritten notes and things like that. I'll give you an example. We have a leader on the TPO side, Miss Natalie Cook. She's awesome. And I've received 3 handwritten note cards from her over the last couple of months, right? And it's just, you know, taking the time. And who writes anymore? That's the other part. Who writes anymore? Personal connection is super important. Doesn't mean you have to practice your handwriting and get a feather quill and inkwell and start writing like Harry Potter, but it's the little details. And for example, I love LinkedIn. If we're not connected on LinkedIn, please do reach out to Del and I and connect with us. But it gives you a notification if you guys use this. I tend to wish every single person a happy birthday every single morning. It's part of my thing that I do every morning because it tells you whose birthday it is. Problem is, with the inclusion of AI, it's automatically saying, happy birthday, Del, and people just say, send it, or congratulations on your move, and they send it. You need to not do that. You know, when I received those, like, great, you used AI, right? But take that time, say, Delfino, happy birthday. By the way, it was his birthday last week. Delfino, happy birthday. Have a wonderful day. Can't wait to see you again. And the recipient sees that personal touch, that personal connection that you try to emulate. So, yeah. So
The only thing I have to add to that one is putting it all together to get to this part, right? Slide 8, because if you think about the art of follow-up, if you think about communication, if you think about building trust, if you think about empathy, all these pieces make it easier for you to send a personal transaction, a personal note, right? So the power of a handwritten note is so easy to grab our phones and say, thank you, Harish, for having us on. Amy, appreciate you guys. You're done for the day. You go on, you do whatever, right? But the power of taking time to handwrite a letter is extremely important. That's something that will separate you from the competition. I guarantee you that, no matter what level originating you're in. And so people get away from that now. We are all about AI. We're doing a lot of pieces to our business here at Kind for to make it easier for people to partner, for us to make sure we're producing loans as fast as we can. But we don't lose the part of that personal touch, right? How important all of our team members are to give that touch to our brokers. As easy as a broker communicating with somebody, an underwriter live, right? That's a connection, right? That we have brokers that send handwritten letters to our underwriters. Say, thank you so much for helping us. All these things together help build that connection. So we wanted to incorporate this piece too. But I'm excited for slide 9 because slide 9, the 9th principle here, Krish, is really important for a lot of reasons. But let's talk. You can open it up.
yeah, the key to growth. Companies that actively listen and act on customer feedback experience 2 to 7% higher revenue growth than those that don't, right? And I want to add a little piece to this is, you know, how many times do we go to Google reviews, right, or someone's reviews platform and only pivot to either the bad or the good reviews? Now, if you ever pivot to the bad reviews, do you see a response, right? So like, I'll use Wendy's restaurants or whatever. They'll go in and probably say something funny, but they'll address these issues. And because they did, you got the feedback, but then you also gave feedback back, and to fix issues as well. But actively ask for feedback. What can we do better? Implement changes and let clients know their input mattered. Use testimonials as a powerful social proof. And just to say, all of our account executives are sending reviews to our brokers to ask those exact questions. There's 5 questions, I believe. Yep.
Yeah, it's a great these testimonials. The art of feedback is something very special that we take very serious at Kind. We never say to our team members or our account executives, you know, you will like this. Will you like this? Do you think this is a good idea? And I've seen broker organizations that have large amount of loan officers, thousands of loan officers, or even one that have 5 shops actively are asking for feedback on what the company can do better. Okay. And so that is a big piece of a strong relationship and say, hey, I know things are going smooth. I know things, we're closing your loans quickly. We closed your last transaction. Great. Real estate agent, but any feedback? What can I do better? Did you like the communication? Did you think that we over communicated? Not enough. Like, did the conditions that you had to deal with, were they good? So all of that is a big piece. Okay. And we value our brokers' input here tremendously. We use our AE council to go out and talk to our brokers and loan officers. The AE council comes back and it gives us feedback on what we can do better, both on the product side, service side, technology. And all of that makes relationships better. So I strongly urge everyone in especially, like I mentioned earlier, no matter how big of an office you work in, it's really important to constantly ask for feedback, no matter how well you're doing and what you can do better. So, but we're closing up here with the 10th one and almost on time here. So I'm excited about this one.
Yeah, exactly. So principle 10, last and final one. And just want to say, like, if you're following through and when you get this deck, look at the previous 8, 9, 10. When you get to this, that all kind of, it's a stepping stone to build amazing, perfect relationships. So long-term perspective, play the infinite game, play the long game. Relationships compound faster, so do your commissions. Long-term mindset shift. So prioritize relationships over that transaction. And this is the theme that we've been speaking about today.
Yep.
Stay in touch after the loan closes. Don't set it and forget it, right? Reach out and invest in various marketing that creates sustainable relationships and trust. I think we talked about 5 touches or 7 touches, but throughout the year, talk to them. Right. It's not 1 year, 1 year from now, they get an email it's like happy anniversary in your house. There's everything in between.
Yeah. And I'm happy that we're closing this out and I hope everybody sees how we're tying it in. The business that we're in is a long-term perspective. Anything that we're doing here, right? Both that kind and all the investments that all of you are doing on your business daily, when you're going to lunches with your partners, whatever it is, your former partners, everything that we've done here is a long-term investment. And I think it's important to keep that. It's an infinite game, right? Trying to make sure we multiply the good transactions, making sure we improve on the ones that don't go as smoothly as possible. And I think that's one of the most important parts of a relationship is to understand and set the expectation. Listen, this is not just one transaction. My plan is to close as many transactions as I can for you and do it as smooth as possible. And I think we wanted to put these 10 perspectives in order to make sure we tie it in to remind everyone it's a long-term play. Your partners you put with, the brokers you do, your lenders you work with, your referral partners, everybody you partner with every day in this industry, because this truly is a beautiful industry. We help people purchasing homes. We have the American dream. It's something very great that we do here. And I am very proud to be part of this industry, very proud to work here at Kind to offer our brokers not just the best technology, price, and service, but a different perspective, that mindset shift to help you grow your business. I don't think we have enough time. I want to be respectful of everybody's time today. So I don't know if we have 2 more minutes, but if we go to the next slide, Krish, real quick.
Which is
the last slide, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think there's one that had some QR codes on there that we wanted to share with people. We have a lot of trainings that are coming over to you guys, and we can drop the QR codes in the chat if it's not there. But there's a lot of trainings. We talked about training. We talked about relationships here. We are continuing to build our platform here for all of you at Kind, both on the product side, the technology side. Not only that, but most recently, over the last 3 months, we've created pods for our brokers in different areas. So you're working with the same underwriters on your transactions. So they're familiar with your markets, they're familiar with your transactions, and it does definitely help you build a long-term relationship that we all want to do. So Harish and Amy and everybody joining, thank you so much for your time today. It was a true honor. I want to respect everybody here, and we got 1 more minute left. So I want to thank you guys all for having us on, and thank you, Austin and Krish and Amber for being on today as well.
Yeah, no, thank you, Delfino. I will just add, if you guys want to sign up with Kind Lending, you can do that right from the ARIVE platform. So you can do this from our marketplace lenders, or there's a widget on top that will take you directly to their sign up link. I know we'll be sharing these QR codes, but as you are using the system, if you are not approved with Kind Lending, you should definitely give them a shot. But thank you, Del and Krish and everyone else, who joined here today. We greatly appreciate the partnership and everyone's time. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.